well, welcome to just outside the Estes Park entrance to Rocky Mountain National Park on a trip that we didn't think we were going to get to do at all, specifically not now, or at least maybe not this year. We had this trip planned for the fall time frame, and then for some reasons I'll get into here in just a bit in voiceover, we had to pull the whole thing forward. I didn't think it was possible, but Alana did her thing. She does what she does, and here we are. So let's get this thing going. Well, to make a long story short, I recently started working for a new company. There was a conflict with when we had originally planned this trip, but we hadn't given up on it just yet. While sipping on an evening whiskey, I tossed out the idea, hey, want to hit the road tomorrow? The following morning, we were up and on the road, and Alana was working some laptop magic from the passenger seat to make our ad hoc trip come together.
Luckily, having already planned everything once, it was much easier to put things back into place while rolling west. The trip mission was to visit the 4 Colorado national parks. The order was determined by the biggest hurdle, which was the timed entry reservation here at Rocky Mountain. As luck would have it, there must have been some cancellations as we were able to reserve a couple of campsites, which came with timed entries after 1 p.m. on check-in day. So, for our first day, we needed to reach the park before timed entry began. However, the biggest challenge to enjoying this park was the altitude. Living at 1,000 feet, we are used to having oxygen. Our rapid arrival and ascent into higher elevation gave us little time to adjust. So we took it slow at first, opting for longer drives and easy walks, which put us on the dirt of Old Fall River Road just after sunrise. Following a quick stop at Chasm Falls, we continued to climb toward Alpine Ridge. Right before we reached the tree line, we had an unforgettable close encounter with some elk. Old Fall River Road is a one-way route that takes you right to the Alpine Ridge Visitor Center, which happens to be the highest visitor center in all of the U.S. Parks system. Before checking it out, we took the short hike to the 12,005-foot overlook. Mind you, we were moving pretty slow to manage our heart and breathing rates. Next, we jumped back in the truck and headed toward the west side of the park and to our reserved campsite at Timber Creek Campground after a few more stops for short hikes and views at Lake Irene, the Holtzwarth site, and Coyote Valley. Timber Creek Campground is located at 6,800 feet and has 98 sites. There are flush toilet bathrooms, but no shower facilities. We were informed upon arrival that we could not do anything that would cause water to be dumped on the ground, i.e. shower outside, so we were disappointed to be going to bed dirty.
Well, yesterday was lovely, although we are really pretty thankful that we took it easier. The elevation did get to us a bit. We fought headaches off and on, particularly whenever we went on hikes with some elevation gain. So we're thankful that we took the scenic day with some of the smaller hikes and walks. Camp last night was lovely, although we did have a thunderstorm roll through, so we ended up playing games there in the truck and just sort of relaxing and getting to bed early, hopefully to continue acclimating to the altitude. Now, we're really hoping that worked out for us because we're going to be pushing it here a bit today. We are going to, what is it?
Lone Pine Lake?
Lone Pine Lake via the East Inlet. And according to AllTrails, it's about 1,800 feet of elevation gain, taking us to just under 10,000 feet. So we're starting out above 8,000 and then we're climbing quite a bit. So this is going to push us, but we've got plenty of time here to take it very slow and let our oxygen catch up with everything. So let's get on that hike.
We were torn between two trails. One showed more fire damage in pictures on AllTrails, and the other was longer and had more elevation change. The ranger at the Alpine Visitor Center suggested the longer one, so we went with it. Lone Pine Lake Trail starts by the city of Grand Lake, which is outside of the park. We were still working through acclimating to the altitude, and honestly, it was quite difficult to slow ourselves down on the trail before a headache reminded us. Rather than motivating each other to go faster, we helped each other take it easy and stop to take in the scenery. We hiked through diverse landscapes, starting with a mixed forest of pine and aspen with a scenic detour to Adams Falls, a 55-foot waterfall set in a rocky gorge. As we continued, the trail opened up to East Meadow, where we enjoyed expansive views of the valley and surrounding mountains like Mount Craig and Mount Cairns, with opportunities to spot wildlife such as moose and elk. Further along, the trail climbed the lower slopes of Mount Cairns, offering panoramic vistas of Grand Lake and the valley. After passing several backcountry campgrounds and waterfalls, the journey culminated at Lone Pine Lake with stunning views of the surrounding peaks and a peaceful granite slab for resting. We noticed dark clouds forming while we were eating our snack and realized we needed to get back on the trail to head down as quickly and safely as we could to avoid the possible impending weather. As you can see, we didn't make it. After drying off and changing in the back of the truck, we found a grocery store to reload the fridge and, since it was after 1 p.m., headed back into the park to make our way to our next reserved campsite on the east side of the park. We had already traveled a good portion of this scenic route, but it still looked different from this direction. Trail Ridge Road ascends to over 12,000 feet, making it the highest continuous paved road in North America. We took advantage of each pullout to enjoy the breathtaking views of various mountain ranges and canyon overlooks. We took the right for Bear Lake Road, and during our drive to the campground, we quickly realized this is definitely the busiest area of the park, even at 7 p.m. on a Monday.
Well, yesterday's hike was absolutely lovely. We
Yes.
thoroughly enjoyed it, at least right until the very top. As we got up to the lake, we heard thunder in the distance, and we
Yes.
were trying to make our way down as quickly as we could, but as you saw, not quick enough. In
No.
fact, we got hit by a deluge that included BB-sized hail,
Yes.
which hurt like the dickens. And it's so funny. Alana and I are always carrying all of our rain gear, all of our stuff to be prepared for inclement weather, and we just weren't on that hike.
Nope.
With the climb ahead of us and the work to be done. We just slacked off, and then we got bit. We got caught out
Yep.
in the weather. If you hike long enough, you're going to get caught in a storm, and we did. With all the lightning, the best we could think to do was to keep trying to get lower and lower.
Yep.
So we just sort of kept at it, even though the trail turned into a river. After that, we went back up to the visitor center. What was the name of that visitor center?
The Kawanchi?
No, the
Oh.
one up
Oh,
top. at
Alpine.
The Alpine. And then we came back out this road, the
Yes.
34, all the way new to what is where we're at now.
We are at Glacier Basin. Glacier Basin.
Yeah, Glacier
Campground.
Glacier Basin Campground. We're here for 2 nights.
Yes.
And we're going to be able to stay set up. We're going to grab the shuttle. We're going to do some hikes today.
Yep.
Probably some of the more popular ones that you're used to.
Yep.
So here we go with that now.
Glacier Basin Campground is located at 8,500 feet and has 150 campsites ranging in size from tent only to large RV. There are flush toilets located throughout the loops and only one set of outside shower stalls for the entire campground that are BYOW, bring your own water. The rules stated that standalone showers at campsites were not allowed. So we lugged our 5-gallon water tank that we can pressurize up to the outside shower stalls for our showers, which was luckily located in our loop. Our suggestions would be to study the map if you will need to utilize these and use a solar shower bag setup. The hike to Emerald Lake was suggested by friends and the ranger, but we didn't realize that it also went by Nymph and Dream Lakes, as well as having Hayaha and Bear Lakes as options too. Nymph Lake is about a half-mile in and is a small picturesque alpine lake surrounded by water lilies, giving it a unique and serene atmosphere. At about a mile in, you'll see Dream Lake, which is larger and more dramatic than Nymph Lake. The lake's crystal clear waters reflect the surrounding mountains, creating a dreamlike, tranquil scene. At 1.8 miles in, you'll reach the final destination of Emerald Lake. This lake sits at the base of a dramatic cirque beneath Hallett Peak and Tyndall Glacier. The emerald green color of the lake, especially in the summer months, gives it its name. After a quick snack, we headed back out on the trail for Haiaha Lake. The turnoff was by Dream Lake and takes a gradual climb of about 850 feet up. That doesn't sound like much, but it does it within 7/10 of a mile. To reach the edge of the lake, we had some rock scrambling over and around large boulders. The view was definitely worth the extra effort. Unfortunately, it was pretty busy with 2 large high school groups, so we decided to take in the view for a few moments before scrambling our way back to the dirt trail to have our lunch. Once we made our way back to the main trailhead, we took the left for the short, scenic, and popular Bear Lake Trail Loop. This loop is only 6/10 long with minimal elevation gain, so it wasn't too taxing on our tired legs. We headed out to the line for the shuttle and didn't have to wait too long to get on one.
Well, there you go, Rocky Mountain National Park, or at least our trip
yeah.
and experience of it. A few final thoughts. This Bear Lake region, it's the more popular spot for
Definitely.
sure. That being said, we didn't have the same Yosemite experience. Like
No.
all the people, while they were plentiful, we had a really pleasant experience on the trail with them. People pausing, getting out of the way, a lot of courtesy, hi, how you doing, good morning kind of stuff.
Yes.
It was really enjoyable. But if you're looking for a more remote experience, the Timber Creek, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that region absolutely. The west side absolutely provided that. Longer hikes and a little bit different over there than what you can do on this side. That being said, then you lose some amenities as well. So anyway, we would revisit. I don't know that it's in our plans because we have other places to visit. This was National Park 50 for me.
Yes.
47 for Alana, but we are on to get her all caught up by the end of this trip. So we will see you at the Great Sand Dunes National Park in our next video.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So a little behind the scenes for this video's outro. So what we didn't talk about was the horrible time we had trying to get everything dry because we didn't pack. We got soaked. Luckily, we got backup clothes for most of it. Last night, we actually turned on the heater in the truck so that we could have air on our packs to get those dried out. And ran a fan on them. All for Alana to then pack her bag, sitting on top of her Hydro Pack's bite valve, and it soaked it all again.
Yeah.
So all that effort, and Alana, she's still a soggy back girl.
All right.
Which really doesn't sound...
We're just going to roll with it.
Here we